love the faceted look of a hand peened wedge, of a hand peened pin. Isn't that cool looking? Stock. First thing I do is clean up that wire cut end on it. So we just take the, oh dear, I'm bending it. I want a nice flat top. Oops. Okay, nice and flat on the top. Now I'm gonna push that down in the vise a little bit more. I'm gonna make sure the vise is extra tight. Now what we use when we peen a head on a pin like this, especially if it's for a decorative reason, we want to use a mirror hammer. Now I don't have a mirror peening hammer, but all you need is something with a bit of weight that is mirror finish. The rule of thumb is if you can hit it and it hurts your fingernail and it hurts, that's a good enough pressure. That's kind of what you want. That's kind of the rule of thumb. That's all you need. You don't need it any heavier than that. You don't need it any lighter than that. That's about right. Now the mirror is very important, because if you imagine this is a very ductile metal, and you can imagine this hammer is going to smash, deform, plastically deform, and push the metal out of place. And what that does is kind of mushroom out the head, like you see here, out over the hole, so it can't go back through. The importance of the mirror is that it will impart to the surface of the pin the same texture of the surface of the hammer. So imagine if you got some Play-Doh on a bigger scale. If you got some Play-Doh and you smash it with something that's got a rough texture, you leave behind that rough texture. But if you hit it with something that's glassy smooth, you have a glassy smooth texture on your Play-Doh. And same thing goes for peening a brass head. So I'm going to peen a head here to begin with, and then we get to, that'll help us in the assembly of the razor. So just light taps. Try to hit it right in the middle at first for a while. I don't know if you can see it, but it no longer has that dull look from the file. It has a mirror polish on the peen of the head. A little bit lighter pressure when you do the edges. Heavy pressure right in the middle. Let's see if it'll hold our washer. That's hard to hold on to, I tell you. Alright, will the washer go down over that? Will the washer fall through and get lost? Yes. Okay. Oh dear, it happened again. bars or two. Okay, let's take this on a different approach to this. You kind of see the mirror polish already. See the shadow. Yeah, that's a beautiful polish. And that's right from the deformation of the handle. It's of the hammer. So I'll put it in the other side. Slip it through. This is a very cheap Moxon style vise. Alright. Let's check to see how that fits. Speaking of brass, this is my Buck 110. Okay, so that doesn't let the pin back off. I'm going to pin that a little bit bigger though, I think. Okay. Alright, now it's finally time to take the razor back out of the box. Okay. Let's put the original box over there. This is nice. Let's see if I can get a close up there. Probably won't focus. Come on. No, it's not focusing. I'll have to give you a close up later. Okay, let's assemble the razor. Alright, we have the peened pin with the washer. So what we'll do is put that through here. Oh, no, let's do, we need a lot less than that. Put that through there. We need this in here like this. And then we want the pin to go through. Ow. That razor is not sharpened, but it is sharp. As most knives. Oh, look at that. I cut it close there on a wedge. Let's watch that close. Okay. That's pretty close. Alright. Now when this, it naturally wants to be like that. Now hopefully when the pin tightens up, it'll pull it together like that. And wedge, and it'll kind of hold the razor in place. Like so. Alright. So let's take another look. See if our measurements of the wedge is correct. We did 2 millimeter. And yes, it is keeping the blade from coming out too far because it wedges down like so. Let's cut that to how much we need. This is difficult to tell you how much. I gotta sandwich this together. Yeah, not an easy thing to do. How would I tell you how much you need? I think you need about the same width as the washer. No, a little bit more. Half the width of the pin. I'm gonna use that as my rule. Ow! 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 Did you see that? Yes. Ow! Ow! All right. Let's take that pin down a bit. It's a bit too. Now I'm gonna clean up that wire cut. You have to account for the amount you're going to take off when cleaning up the wire cut. Alright, that's looking good. Okay, time to take up my anvil. Let's just lay that gently down. Oh, come on. Let's just lay that gently over here. Okay, this is the pole of my 4-pound axe that I got from my grandfather, which makes it special to me, but where it's 4 pounds, it works pretty good as an anvil. Okay, let's begin peening. Now, it's careful when you're dealing with antique scales. If you had the original scales, you gotta be careful, because if you overstrike or something, you could break the scales or mar them up or something. But these are my own wooden ones. I kind of know what they're capable of. I can hit them a few times and that won't hurt them at all. So I'm just going to begin hitting right on the top here. And check to see if you are still in focus. Not bad. Okay. Alright, light pressure around the edges here. Kind of feather off the head over the washer, like so. Some hard hits right in the middle. Try to deform that metal out. Okay, let's take a look at the other side for a second. Yeah, so if you don't want to buy a expensive polished peening hammer or a peening hammer and polish it yourself, man, look through your toolbox. Find a polished chrome covered chrome wrench like this, and you might already have the perfect peening hammer in your toolbox. Okay, let's check that for tightness. All right, it's sandwiched down on either side pretty good. See how it's tight? Not much gap. And see how where this tang is a wedge, it's narrower on this end than that end. And see how the scales kind of get closed in here a little bit? That's just perfect. So let's close her up. I'll close her up. Oh yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, here's the finished product. I think it's looking pretty good. Let's see if I can focus there. There's a pivot pin. Both sides. See how it kind of bent the scales in around? That's what it's supposed to do. Here's this wedge. Wedge pin. Did a little bit more sanding off camera there. Might need a little bit of work, and it is looking fine. So let's open her up. James Barlow and Sons, manufacturing, Sheffield, England. And apparently Echo is the name of this particular model. You can see the stamping there, the jimping, or no, the jimping is that, but the decorative work done. There's no edge presently on this razor. That's what we're going to do next time, part 3. Let's check the blade centering. So blade goes in here. Slightly out of center. Maybe 1 millimeter this way, maybe less. Hard to tell. But that's pretty good for homemade. That's pretty decent. And you see how it jams in there? That's how scales work. It jams in. That way the blade doesn't stick out the bottom. Protects everything. There we go. Let's check out the other scale. Now, I can't wait to sharpen this. Just can't wait to sharpen this. It's going to be fun. There's some heavy pitting there that I didn't get out. And the tang down here was very, very heavily rusted. You could cut it off with a knife. Alright, well that concludes that. I hope you noticed something. Hopefully you might have learned something. I know I learn something every time I make a new handle for a knife or straight razors or something. It's always a learning thing. You've probably seen lots of ways I could improve. But this is great. Can't wait to sharpen it. So part 3 coming up. I'm not sure when. Hopefully within a week. You'll see the sharpening process. Alright.